Welcome to the Blackout Index. Today we're talking about mental health. Let's get into it. In 2019, suicide was the second leading cause of death for Blacks or African Americans ages 15 to 24. Black females grades 9 to 12 were 60% more likely to attempt suicide in 2019 as compared to non-Hispanic white females of the same age. Yet, in the Black community, mental health is still a taboo topic. But there are individuals and organizations that are normalizing getting mental health help. The Loveland Foundation. Through fellowship, residency programs, listening tours, and more, the Loveland Foundation brings opportunity for the healing to communities of color, particularly Black women and girls. Black Women's Health Imperative. By advancing health equity and social justice for Black women, this organization imitates change through policy, advocacy, education, research, and leadership development. Ourselves Black, through a podcast, an online magazine, and online discussion groups, this organization provides information on promoting mental health and developing positive coping mechanisms for Black communities. Sister Ife. This organization helps to support Black women by providing a community mental health wellness education and resource connection. Therapy for Black Girls. They have an awesome Instagram page. I follow it. And this is an online space which is dedicated to encouraging the mental health wellness of Black women and girls. We will definitely be putting this in the comment section, but make sure that you check out these organizations. Speaking of a woman who is making an impact in this area, we've brought in a mental health professional, Letitia Laurien. Oh, please introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you love to do? What is your passion?
Okay. All right. So my name is Letitia Laurien. A little bit about myself. I am a creative. I'm a teacher in many ways. I'm an encourager. I consider myself a shepherd, like somebody who helps guide people in their direction towards growth. Outside of all of that greatness, I have been chosen to be a wife and a mother of two small children. They are getting ready to turn 6 and 7, and boy and girl. And by profession, I am a clinical social worker who has chosen to help others by way of improving their mental health and wellness. And I'm also a certified meditation teacher and a certified yoga teacher, as well as have a certification in wellness and corporate wellness. So that is kind of summary of who I am and what I have in terms of some skills.
That's beautiful. I also love just how you are telling your story, as it's not done. That's just like what you're doing now. What made you want to get into mental health or in yoga, because you're a yoga instructor? What was that journey like for you to get into that?
Yeah, so I had suffered from depression for many years and also worked with others as I was suffering as a social worker. I became a therapist, still suffering. So I noticed when I was in graduate school that I needed to get some help. So I started seeing a therapist myself and decided that I wanted to go into the concentration of mental health after I graduated from my master's program. It's been valleys and kind of mountains in terms of leading me towards working with others and with mental health issues. But the journey has been good. But what got me into mental health was pretty much my own issues and trying to create some healing for myself and then working in the field and seeing even how other professionals such as I needed more guidance in that area as they're trying to work and heal people. So it made me just want to go into that aspect of learning, one, how to heal myself, and then in turn, how to better heal others. So that's kind of what made me get into mental health as a concentration in my field.
And you own an LLC, a company called Looseleaf, correct? And so what is Looseleaf?
So Looseleaf is a company, actually, I started in 2012. I started it as a clinical consulting company to help provide more effective services with various human services agencies. This is when I was living in Virginia. And I started to, in that position, when I opened up my own company, I started to also see again where a lot of the professionals, such as therapists and counselors, were struggling with their own mental health challenges. And so what I decided to do was change the name from Looseleaf Clinical Consulting to Looseleaf Holistic Wellness. And the mission is to design spaces for people to heal. And those spaces can look different based on the need. So since 2019, Looseleaf has focused on its services as it relates to mental health by way of wellness. And that looks like teaching people about how to use their mind, body, spirit to heal themselves. Because I believe that the body can heal itself if we allow it to. And so my mission and the mission of Looseleaf is to continue to teach myself and others how to do just that, how to allow the body to heal itself. So that's kind of the evolution of Looseleaf. So the name in itself is very much so about what I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to get people to understand, how do you be a part of something but still be detached from it? So how do you go about attaching, but also learning how to detach? So it's the concept of being a part of a whole, because we are all relational as human beings. So we need relationship, but at the same time, we need to learn how to take care of ourselves. And sometimes that takes unplugging from the tree. So that is the concept behind being a loose leaf and becoming a loose leaf.
So you being a Black woman, being in this field, I'm actually a certified yoga teacher as well. My journey into it was definitely my family was not aboard with me going into yoga. It was definitely something first that was weird, that they would say, or very hippie, they would say, but you're going all the way through, you have your yoga license. So how is it when you're trying to invite other people who look like you? How do you open your hand to them, like saying, oh, join me? What are some ways that you get people around that look like you into Looseleaf or any of your sessions?
So with yoga in general, I think the difference is trying to help people understand that yoga is a way of living. It's not just going into a studio and you're doing some poses. That's just the exercise of it that you can do as a tool in yoga. But yoga is really a philosophy. It's about the unity of the body, spirit, and mind. It's about oneness. And that's not only oneness with yourself, but also all that's around you in terms of the world, the environment, trees, birds, animals, food, people. So what I try to do is help educate people on that end. And that usually is the way to reel them in. Because if I go to other direction, I've learned when I go to other direction, because people have this connotation that yoga is something from Buddhism, and especially if they're Christians, they're like, they want to stay away from it. They think maybe it's something demonic, or you're opening the door to some spirits that they don't want to be a part of. So you say yoga and they're very much against. So I kind of have to introduce it the back doorway. And then I explained to them, well, this is yoga. Like, this is just a way of life. And then I start teaching them, how do we get into the body, with the breath, and what are we doing with the movements, and how is this related to life in general? So that is my technique in terms of trying to help people, particularly the Black community, get more educated about yoga and how do you turn this thing into an everyday life. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You have to break down that this is not I mean, it can be a religion, but it's not necessarily, it's a culture. Actually, it's a way of living. It's a lifestyle. It's not necessarily, it's not a religion. But how is it, or let's give an example. If there's someone coming in who says, I'm fine. I'm fine, but I just really want to try this. What do you encourage them as well? Obviously you do, but are there different ways that you bring people who are like, I don't necessarily I'm not, depressed, and say, or do you open your arms to other people as well?
Of course, because it's just life. All of us have struggles. It doesn't mean you're suffering from some type of clinical mental health disorder or anything of that nature. Sometimes it's just I'm stressed and I don't know, it's too much. I'm overwhelmed. So anybody can benefit from actually just sitting down and talking to another person that's outside of a family and friend, who's willing to be an open ear and has some skill level in terms of what are some different things that I can do in my daily life so that I can, kind of feel a little better, so that I cannot be so stressed out, so that I can cope better. So it's different approaches based on the need and the person. The person has a lot to do with the process, them being open to different things that they can incorporate into their life, and allowing someone like me to help them in that journey. So it definitely takes openness, and that's one of the first things I tell my clients on the initial session. I always do consultations before I even start with them, because I like to talk to them about what my style is and what they're looking for, to see if I'm the right fit. Because sometimes I may not be. I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. And so I'm very honest and bold in that. And I believe that the people who come to me as clients are assigned to me. And so it's definitely an important piece during that consultation session in the beginning, where a lot of those questions that you just, like you just asked, we kind of flush all of that out before we even start the helping process.
Are there, first of all, that's beautiful. The next question I have is, seasons are changing, things are rearranging, and it's almost as if everything gets darker. Literally, things get darker. Daytime is cut. What are some ways that you give to your, do you call them clients, or you call them clientele? Yeah, make sure you cut that one out. What are some tips or things that you tell your clients about seasonal changes and stuff like that?
So I often talk to my clients about, so with me, it's a way of living, right? It's a way of life. So no matter what season it is, you just need to be living this way, because it helps in the change of seasons if you are already consistent. So some of the things that I talk about, one is consistency and making this thing a lifestyle, not just trying to have this quick fix, because healing is a journey. And if you really want to see results, it's going to take a while. So you got to trust the process. So a lot of times the symptoms do change a lot when it comes to the particularly winter season, later fall. People start getting a little more down, feeling a little more sad, maybe some changes in sleep patterns, loss of energy, things like that, because in many places, the time is changing, it's getting darker earlier. So they start feeling a little down. And a lot of that too is just the body, because our body, we have these different chemicals, neurotransmitters that become off balance if we don't have direct sunlight, the proper foods, and nutrition, and even relationship with others, because we know when it starts to get colder, we start to stay in more. So we're not necessarily out interacting with people. So there is something called light therapy. that sometimes therapists recommend. They are different types of light that people can put in their homes, offices, and it's just like can be like a lamp. But this particular light is helping balance out the different chemicals in your body so that it can change your mood. There's also, for people who feel like it gets to the point of medication, then there's antidepressants and things like that. I'm usually a fan of trying to do the natural first, and see if that works and go from there. But those are some of the things that I suggest to clients as well as anybody else who would ask me. Of course, exercise and building up a support system and making sure you have some hobbies and things like that. And just laugh every day, find something to laugh about, So all those things, a combination of that, it can make you feel better.
Okay, that's really great tips. We'll definitely be putting that on the thing of some tips for seasonal depression. So we're gonna try something that I'm actually a little nervous about. We're gonna try, if you're okay with this still, because consent is important, ladies and gentlemen. A small, tiny consultation. That's how you say it, right? Okay, thank you. Consultation of me and you, because a lot of people talk the talk, but today we're gonna try to walk the walk. Not too in depth, but wow, just the pressure really got on. Okay, so Kyrsten was like, "Do you mind talking?" I was like, "Oh, here we go." So let's just pretend that this is a consultation. I'm a client. I have nothing. This is my first time coming into a therapy session. How would it start? How would this go?
Okay. So one of the first things, of course, after us introducing ourselves, I would ask you what brought you in? What got you to this point where you decided to seek out therapy?
Well, I think very similar to a lot has been changing. There's a lot of, I'm in grad school. There's a lot that is, I think first my name is Joi. So, a lot of times, I am being joyful and I am helping others and being nice, but sometimes even though I'm happy, there's some times where I feel really, really sad, or like as in like a tiny little hole. And I do my best to exercise, eat as healthy as I should be, or I have a support system. I have all these things. I'm in a great grad program. I have friends and stuff, but still it's like something that is inside. And so I don't necessarily know how to talk about it because it's almost like I'm complaining, something of that nature. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, a lot of times what happens with us, because we have this brain as humans and a lot of thoughts run through it. And because we have this brain and a lot of thoughts run through it, we tend to have this tape, right, that plays with ourselves. And we have these narratives that we tell ourselves, if I could say narratives, almost like stories. And a lot of times it's all about the story that you're sitting and telling yourself at any given moment. And because life can be great around you, you can have $1 billion and all the friends in the world and eat great and exercise. But if you got this negative narrative that keeps going around in circles in your head like a hamster wheel, then you are not going to feel great, no matter whether all the things on the external is going right or not. That's why a lot of times people don't understand. They'll look at Joi and say, "What in the world? What do you mean you're not feeling good? You're in grad school, you got friends, you look great, you're beautiful, you're smart, But for you, it's like they just don't understand. They don't get it. Well, the reason they don't get it is because it's in here. It's the tape that we play to ourselves that nobody else is hearing. So I think a direction for us to go in, if you decide to go through this process and this journey of allowing me to be your therapist, we would probably start there and start talking about some of the narratives and things that you may be telling yourself, and I'll help you explore that along the way. But you may be surprised that you probably, from changing the narratives, could change the emotional outcome that it sounds like you're having. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Woo! Hey, okay. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is therapy. No, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to message you. With that being said, how can we reach you? How can other people reach you and Looseleaf and all those things?
So thank you for asking. So I have taken an intentional hiatus from social media. However, folks can check out my website at Looseleaf Holistic Wellness. The address is www.looseleafllc.com. And there are links there that will take you to Looseleaf Instagram as well as Facebook page. So all the contact information is there on the website, and I can be contacted in that way. It's kind of a one-stop shop.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, this was a beautiful and in a very fast time. So I can only imagine people seeing this, saying, it didn't feel to me, I didn't feel like I was being attacked. I didn't feel like you're doing this wrong. It's more of like, let's just talk about it. And that's what therapy is essentially. I'm not a professional, but from what this was, it was just talking about and looking at different angles. And I think sometimes just being brave and coming to someone with a beautiful soul as you and talking about it is all you need sometimes. And then some. And so I'm so grateful that you were able to come on today and
thank you.
Share your wisdom. And I will definitely be messaging you after this. And I hope all that we're watching today knows that, this is a space tailored for you, and that all you need is just to reach out and try every day. So anyway, any last words that you would like to say?
No, thank you for having me. And it's awesome what you and your crew are doing. I hope you all continue in helping the masses. So, it's always nice to see other Black folks helping other Black folks. So that's awesome. And on that note, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Auntie T.
All right. You're welcome.
Thank you.
No problem. Y'all take care, okay?
You too.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Here at TBGI, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we always end on a positive note by quoting messages of healing from Black women. Maya Angelou said, "Take a day to heal from the lies you've told yourself and the ones that have been told to you." Comment below what lies you were conditioned to believe and how you are unlearning them.